have to make you dirty. Like, you cannot be in Hollywood, become famous if they don't have some kind of dirt on you. And you go on those parties, and that's where usually you have to do something dirty, and it could be the party of overeating stuff.
Very seductive, and people want to be famous, and sometimes you think you're going to be safe and with an adult in the room, or I don't know where this security comes from, but somehow I dodged it all.
Pamela Anderson is finally spilling the tea about a terrifying experience at a Diddy party that she says nearly cost her life. And the details are jaw-dropping. Hollywood veteran Pamela has seen it all, especially during the wild 80s and 90s when outrageous things went down behind closed doors, long before social media could expose them. But for someone as seasoned as Pamela to claim that a Diddy party left her shaken to the core and fearing for her life, it had to be something truly sinister. Word is, it wasn't just your run-of-the-mill wild behavior. Insiders reveal that Pamela witnessed disturbing dark rituals at this party, events so shocking that they left her emotionally scarred. Even more chilling, Pamela herself was almost caught up in these rituals, and she says she's got receipts to prove it. So, did Diddy really try to involve Pamela in one of these bizarre rituals? Let's dive into the details and unpack the story.
As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended performances with male commercial workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics.
In recent months, Diddy's troubles have taken a dramatic turn for the worse, and the outlook isn't promising. He's now facing accusations of some of the most serious crimes ever leveled against anyone in Hollywood, and if convicted, he could spend the rest of his life behind bars. And that's not all. The civil lawsuits keep stacking up, with each one more shocking than the last. At this rate, Diddy might need to take out massive loans just to settle all the claims brought against him in the past year alone. On top of the legal drama, industry insiders are spilling secrets about his infamous freak-off parties, where some of these alleged crimes reportedly occurred. The latest to speak out? Pamela Anderson. And let's just say she's not holding back. Rumor has it Pamela used to attend Diddy's parties and witness some truly disturbing behavior. But back then, she couldn't openly share what she saw due to fears of retaliation from Diddy and his powerful associates. Now that the floodgates have opened, she's speaking her truth. For those unfamiliar, Pamela Anderson isn't just some random influencer looking for attention. At 57, she's endured more in her lifetime than most people could imagine. When Pamela calls something creepy, you can bet it's serious. Pamela's life began in Ladysmith, British Columbia, Canada, where she grew up with her parents, Carol and Barry Anderson. Unfortunately, her childhood was marked by her parents' toxic and often violent marriage, leaving her caught in the middle of their frequent physical fights.
Well, I grew up in a very in an alcoholic home, and there was violence in my household, and I think it's just my model of a relationship. And when I got into any kind of relationships, it just seems you recreate the pattern, even though you say you're never ever going to do that. You're never going to have the same relationship. My poor mom she's still with my father. My father is a great grandfather. He's a wonderful grandfather, but he's a terrible husband, and my mom still suffers because it's verbal. It used to be physical abuse, and she just.
However, that was only one of Pamela's early traumas. She has spoken up about how a female babysitter between the ages of 6 and 10 exploited her. She didn't really comprehend what was happening to her at the moment. But Pamela likely had a horrible precedence from growing up that way, because she somehow always ended up with guys and men who mistreated and first started dating. It all began when she went to a friend's boyfriend's house and was essayed by the older brother of the lover. At the time, the brother was in his 20s and she was 12. She also had trust issues and severe scars from the ordeal. It didn't get any better when she did start dating. Her boyfriends would physically touch her, verbally abuse her, and slap her. She once described a time when she was arguing with a boyfriend in his car and he began to put his hands on her until he got out of a moving car. She was ganged up in the backseat of his car by another boyfriend and his friends.
I did not have an easy childhood. Despite loving parents, sometimes when you smile, it's not because you're happy, it's because you're strong. That's her word.
Pamela was ready for a new beginning and to take charge of her life by the time Playboy found her and flew her to Los Angeles to begin her modeling career. She was unaware, though, that she was entering the very center of Hollywood's darkest side. Men in and out of the entertainment sector were drawn to Pamela in the late 1980s because of her gorgeous appearance, which included her blonde hair, trim build, and dazzling personality. She immediately gained notice after appearing on the covers of Playboy magazine in its October 1989 issue. Invitations to the renowned Playboy Mansion, which is renowned for its extravagant and occasionally dubious events, came as a result of this newfound prominence. At first, Pamela avoided these events, resolved not to become involved in such a way of life.
It's a condo and a Porsche to be someone's number one girl, and I just naively said, well, there must be number two then, so I'm not interested. Or just money, homes, roles in movies, and I just didn't want to do it that way. I had no desire, and I'm a romantic, and
eventually, the mounting pressure became too overwhelming, and Pamela gave in. Not long after her modeling career began to soar, she landed her iconic breakout role as CJ Parker on Baywatch *, a part she played for 5 seasons from 1992 to 1997. Alongside her Baywatch fame, she secured other notable roles in films and theater productions, as well as lucrative modeling opportunities. However, despite her rising career, Pamela faced a constant battle to be taken seriously in the entertainment industry. Many dismissed her as little more than a sex symbol, or stereotyped her as a bimbo. Women often viewed her with envy or disdain, while men saw her as someone to possess rather than respect.
I've heard you describe yourself as a sex kitten and you enjoy that role, and you've been on the cover of Playboy 14 times. Is it hard for you to be a serious messenger? Do people diminish you because you've owned your sexuality and sensuality in that way?
well, I think it's gotten me in the door a lot. And I think there's been more good than bad, but obviously there's, downsides to it as well. But I kind of like not having much to live up to, because then I can surprise people. I form a full sentence. I'm a genius. It's amazing. So, and I've kind of used it to my advantage. And, we use all we are, and I love feeling sexy and being a woman. You're able to be sexy, you're able to be a good mother. It doesn't mean you're a bad mother if you're covered in glitter and just got back from Vegas, a Vegas show. It's all part of us.
One of the most devastating moments in Pamela's career came in 1995 when her private tapes were leaked online. These tapes, filmed during her honeymoon with her ex-husband Tommy Lee, were stolen by a disgruntled former employee. The individual attempted to blackmail the couple, but when they refused to give in, the tapes were sold to a media company that made them public online. Pamela and Tommy initially sued the company, but eventually dropped the charges, concerned about the stress it could bring during Pamela's pregnancy. Unfortunately, dropping the case allowed the company to continue distributing the tape, driving massive online traffic. This happened at a time when internet access was still limited, making it the first major celebrity tape leak and a cultural phenomenon. The scandal was so widespread that it reportedly encouraged more people to start using the internet just to watch the video, highlighting how significant the impact was.
I was a big fan of your Tommy Lee tape.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen it?
No.
It's fantastic.
Stop.
Did you make a mint off of that?
I made not $1.
I thought you guys
it was
made
stolen
a deal.
property. No, we made a deal to stop the shenanigans and stop all the. Like, I was 7 months pregnant with Dylan, and I was thinking it was affecting the pregnancy, the stress, and I said, I'm not going to court anymore. I'm not being deposed anymore by these horny, weird lawyer men. I don't want to talk about my anymore or public sex, anything.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was stolen property. We never, either of us made anything from it, and it was stolen. And, you know, Bob Guccione tried to offer us millions of dollars. We said no. And it was already out at that time, damage was done. So we just said, no way, we're not getting it.
Regretfully, Pamela had a really unpleasant experience when a second private tape, this time involving her and singer Bret Michaels, was released to Penthouse magazine in 1998. She was hit with yet another media storm following the first one. That same year, a condensed version of the video made its way online, despite Bret's attorney's attempts to stop the magazine from releasing it. Pamela's public image suffered greatly as a result of the consequences from these occurrences, and she endured years of objectification and abuse during her career. To exacerbate the situation, Hulu debuted a miniseries about the incident called Pam and Tommy in 2022. Pamela then disclosed that she'd never given Hulu permission to produce the series, which is astounding. In fact, she publicly denounced the platform in an interview for taking advantage of her pain for financial gain.
Pamela Anderson!
Did you know anything at all about Mr. Lee before you met him?
When I first heard about the Pam and Tommy TV series, I think everyone just protected me from it. I wouldn't get involved. And that's, yeah. I don't know. I just think it was interesting to hear about it. Didn't make me happy. No. Assholes. Oh, not assholes, but just salt on the wound. Not necessary. Anyway, it happened. I've never seen the series, and I've never seen too much of it, but it just looked like another Halloween costume to me. Everyone dresses up, but like there was a lot of Halloween costumes over the last decade, so.
Many of the controversies and disclosures involving Pamela weren't just coincidences or accidents, according to certain sources. Rather, they were purportedly a part of planned humiliation exercises intended to crush her soul and make her submit to the sinister requirements of Hollywood's secret powers. She was even allegedly threatened with severe repercussions if she didn't take part in these unsettling activities. According to reports, Pamela was forced to temporarily go to her birthplace of Ladysmith in order to find safety and an opportunity to hide. Despite the horrific events she went through, Pamela is regarded as one of the lucky ones. Similar, if not worse, treatment is inflicted upon many attractive and brilliant women in the entertainment industry, and sadly, some of them never leave. For instance, consider Whitney Houston. More than 10 years after her death, there are still speculations that her death was not quite natural, with some even suggesting that her label boss, Clive Davis, may have been involved. Whitney, a remarkable woman and a generational talent, battled the harsh demands of celebrity. As a coping strategy, she resorted to drugs and alcohol, which had an adverse effect on her health and made it challenging for her to continue her profession as a musician. Whitney Houston's life began to change in her final years, with a concentration on getting clean and restarting her career. On the day she died, she was scheduled to play at Clive Davis' pre-Grammy celebration. However, when news surfaced that Whitney's death had been discovered in her Beverly Hilton room, Clive Davis apparently showed little concern and elected to proceed with the celebration as scheduled. When questioned subsequently, he stated that continuing the party was what Whitney would have preferred.
The Grammys were the next night. You don't cancel. You turn an evening into a tribute.
You did a magnificent evening.
Evening into...
Did you give a thought to canceling?
Never.
You never thought?
Never.
Did you ever think?
And the family did not want me to give a thought. No.
According to her close friend Chaka Khan, Whitney would have been deeply opposed to the idea of her so-called friends and colleagues partying and drinking just a few floors below where her body lay.
You were, I think, going to go to the Clive Davis party.
Yes.
It was a surreal event where Whitney's body was still in the hotel, and there was this sort of party where apparently half the room were in tears, the other half were kind of partying. What did you feel about that?
I thought that was complete insanity. And knowing Whitney, I don't believe that she would have said, the show must go on. She's the kind of woman that would say, stop everything. I'm not going to be there. You know. I don't know what could motivate a person to have a party in a building where the person whose life he had influenced so enormously and whose life had been affected by her. So they were like, I don't understand how.
What makes Whitney's death even more unsettling is that, according to insiders, she appeared disheveled and erratic in the days leading up to it. It was almost as if she sensed something was about to happen. In a particularly odd moment, she interrupted an interview with Brandy and Clive Davis, handing Brandy a mysterious note.
They've been paying tribute. They've been paying tribute.
This is my dad. It's my dad. I'll see you later. I'll see you later.
The contents of that note remain a mystery, but many speculate that Whitney was trying to warn Brandy not just about Clive Davis, but about the entertainment industry as a whole. There are also rumors that Whitney may have been targeted because she wanted to expose the dark side of the industry, including the alleged misdeeds of Clive Davis and his protege Diddy at their infamous freak-off parties. Speaking of Diddy, the buzz is that celebrities who reportedly attended his parties, like Pamela Anderson, may be called to testify before a grand jury as his case heads to trial. Things are definitely heating up for Diddy, and it looks like the drama is only just beginning. People are absolutely glued to the developments. But what do you think? Could Pamela find herself dragged into this chaos after everything she's been through? Or will she step back and avoid the spotlight for now?